Hey, welcome to YOGALATES with SJ and to this 15-minute Express Full Body Pilates workout. So we are going to be targeting every major muscle today, toning, strengthening and improving flexibility. This is a low impact workout which is perfect for all levels. So you can come all the way down when you're ready to bring the big toes together, knees out wide, letting the arms come forward and allowing the forehead to come down onto your mat. Just taking some time here to take some really deep breaths in through the nose and then exhaling all the way back out again. And then when you're ready, just taking your time to start to come all the way up. We're coming to a tabletop position, softly engaging into the core, bringing the shoulders to be in line with the wrists, and your weight is even through both hands and both knees. And you are starting to just come back a little bit, so pressing the hips back as you bring the belly button to spine, and you are then drawing all the way forward again, keeping that connection of the core. Ribs are closed and coming back through to your neutral tabletop position. So starting to come back, you are bringing that belly button all the way back towards the back body, and then you are starting to keep that connection as you start to hinge forward again. So just moving here forward and back, and then taking your time to start to find those circles, so circling all the way around in one direction. So you are letting the head maybe go, or you might still have a little bit of length through the back of the neck, and then circling in the opposite direction. Starting to find some length into the side waist, at the same time starting to warm up through the spine. Any kind of movement with this that feels awesome for you. And then we are coming all the way back through center, and you are coming all the way to a high kneeling, and then coming to a seat. Starting to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, and you are rolling down onto your back. Then you're lengthening the legs up towards the ceiling, bringing the heels together, toes slightly turned out in a Pilates V, and lifting the head and shoulders up, lowering one leg down as you start to draw the other leg in towards the heart, and keeping this going and alternating from side to side, making sure that you've got the core engaged the whole time, ribs are closed, and you are keeping that strong engagement of the core. You aren't bringing any tension into the back of the neck, so you are just lifting up as high as what you can, using your core muscles, lowering one leg down as you draw the other leg, and using your lower core muscles to draw that leg in towards the heart. Nice, let's stay here. Gluing the legs together and keeping that core engagement, and you're lowering one leg down and then drawing it back in, and then lowering the other leg down and drawing it back in. And then we are staying here. You're starting to open the legs out into a split position, then bending through the knees, the heels come towards the glutes, and then you are lengthening the legs back out into a split position, and then drawing the inner thighs to close the legs back in again. So keeping this going and making sure that you are not bringing any tension into that lower back. So you have got your core engaged, belly button to spine. You are lifting up the head and shoulders. You've got length through the back of the neck, and you're only using your core muscles to lift you up. So keeping that core engagement the whole time. Beautiful work. And one more here, and then closing those legs all the way back in, and then lowering the head and shoulders back down, hugging the knees in towards the heart center. Maybe a little rock from side to side, maybe moving a little bit into the feet and the toes, and then starting to float the feet back down to your mat and finding that core engagement. Ribs are closed, reaching the fingertips towards the back of the heels. You are pressing into the feet to lift you up high, lifting the hips up towards the ceiling as high as you can, and then you're starting to lengthen the right toes up towards the ceiling, coming up as high as you can, and then belly button to spine as you start to lower the pelvis back down. And then you are pressing into that left supporting foot, lifting, and then lowering all the way back down from the middle of the back all the way down to the lower back, Nice. And then let's come straight to the other side. So taking your time to bring the foot back down, and you are finding your weight even through both sides as you start to lengthen that left leg up, pointing the toes towards the ceiling, pressing into the right foot as you lift all the way up, ribs are closed, and then starting to bring the belly button back towards the spine as you roll all the way back down. You've got your weight even through that center line, so we are really using the whole pelvis to lift you up and lower down with control, rolling the spine all the way from the top of the back down to the lower back, and then coming all the way down. You're just bringing the feet to come in even closer here, and then bringing the knees in towards the heart center, lengthening the legs out long, and then you are reaching both arms up overhead and circle sweep the arms around. You're coming to a Pilates V. Just starting to cross the ankles, so one in front of the other, keeping that lift here. If you need to, you can bend the knees or even bring the feet down onto your mat and just stay here in your V position. But we are keeping the ribs closed. You are keeping length through the whole back and breathing tiny little crosses, and then coming all the way back through center, and then lowering the feet back down onto your mat. Fingertips pointing forward, and your shoulders are away from the ears, and you're lifting the hips, coming to a reverse tabletop. So lifting up high here, keeping softness into the core, and then lowering the pelvis all the way down, and lifting, keeping that lift, holding here, and then lowering all the way back down. Maybe not letting the pelvis come right down, so finding a hovering of that pelvis and then lifting back up. Really pressing evenly here through both hands, through both feet, lifting up as high as you can, using your glutes and the back of the legs to lift you up, lowering back down. Then let's come all the way back to our Pilates V position, reaching the fingertips towards the toes, and you are just opening the legs out and squeezing those inner thighs to draw the legs back inward again, keeping this going. So as you continue here, we are just finding that squeeze into the inner thighs, and then let's roll all the way down to come back down onto your back, and then circle sweep the arms around, lifting back up into your Pilates V, lifting, and then lowering down super slowly with control, coming all the way down onto your back, circle sweep the arms all the way around, and then lifting, reaching the fingertips towards the toes, and then we are coming all the way up, and then rolling all the way back down, and circle sweep the arms, and coming up, reaching, keeping that engagement of core. Remember, you can bend the knees if you want to here, or you can just bring the soles of the feet down onto your mat and just work with the upper body. And then wherever you are, we're coming all the way up, and we are coming to a seated position. Just taking your time to bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide, lifting up tall out of the sit bones, and finding that length here from the tailbone out the top of the head. Then we're starting to come all the way over, stepping back through to a down dog, and then lowering the knees down and lowering all the way down onto the belly, bringing the hands next to the shoulders and shoulders away from the ears, finding a connection of the forehead down onto your mat, and we are lifting up here and gazing over the right shoulder, coming back through center with the head, and then gazing over the left shoulder and back through center, and then lowering all the way down with control, and then lifting up as you inhale, starting to find that openness of heart, gazing over the left shoulder, back through center, and then gazing over the right shoulder, back through center, and then lowering all the way down, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, elbows go straight back, and then you are just starting to come up onto the forearms. So just making sure the shoulders are in line with the elbows, and you're pressing into those forearms and letting the legs come to about hip distance apart, starting to do a little heel kick So it's a little kick to the glute, lengthen the leg out, and then switching sides. And you are finding that connection into the back of the leg, into the hamstring, as well as into the glute. And at the same time, we are making sure that you've got a soft core engagement here, and you've got length through the lower back. So you are really not bringing any tension into that low back. You've got a really nice lengthened spine, and you are using your core to lift up the front side of the body, squeezing into the back of the glute here as you do that kick, and then starting to lower all the way down and coming all the way back through center. We're starting to come to all fours, and you're bringing your left forearm to cross your mat, and you are starting to bring the right hand to your mat, and you are lengthening the right leg out, opening the hip out to the side, toes pointing out, lifting and lowering the leg, and keeping the left toes tucked, keeping the hips directly pointing towards your mat here. It's a very small lift up and then a lower down. So it's a really, really small movement, but you're bringing your mind to the outer thigh, the outside of the hip, the outside of that glute, and your gaze is straight down or slightly forward, length through the back of the neck, jaw is relaxed, and let's come to the other side. So the right forearm crosses the mat and the left hand is on your mat, tucking those right toes under and lengthening the left leg out, and you've got to flex into that foot, and you're starting to lift and lower, opening that left hip out to that side and lifting up, lowering down, keeping that soft engagement of the core. The ribs are closed. We're working into all the muscles today, you guys, really getting into everything here in this super express workout. Doesn't need to take long, and then a couple more and coming back through center and taking your time to come back through tabletop, and then we are starting to sit down and threading the hands between the legs and bringing the soles of the feet together, coming to a seal. So we are lengthening up here, clapping the soles of the feet together, and then rolling the spine back and giving those feet a little clap, and then rolling back up using your core, and then keeping this going. So we really want to use our core muscles here for this. We are not really using momentum as much as we are really getting into bringing our mind to those core muscles to do all of the work. And we're also just finding a nice openness through the hips as well. And then one more, coming back through center, and you are coming onto your forearms and bringing the hands to be next to the hips, lengthening the legs up, gluing the legs together, and little Pilates V with the feet, so heels together, toes slightly turned out, and you're starting to circle the legs in one direction and then the other. But this is a really small circle, you guys, so I don't want you to really make this too big, because we don't want to bring any tension into the back here. It's all about letting the core move this and stay really stable in your pelvis, so we're not rocking around in any other part of the body. So it's a tiny little circle in one direction, then the other, using those lower core muscles, and then we are coming back through center, bending through the knees and bringing the heels in towards the pelvis, and then lengthening the legs back up. And then we are letting the legs find a split position, squeezing into the inner thighs to draw the legs back inward, and then bending through those knees as the heels come towards the sit bones. Nice. And then let's stay here. We are just keeping the legs in a tabletop position. You're just letting the legs come out and then using your core muscles to draw the legs back in. And then it is a shifting out a little bit and drawing back in. Nice work. Now you can start to make this a little bit more lengthened out if you want to. So maybe you're starting to glue those legs together and you're starting to straighten the legs out, and then drawing the knees back in as you let the heels come down towards the pelvis. Really using your core here, making sure you're not losing that engagement of core and working at your own range, making sure you're not bringing any tension into the lower back. To finish off, you guys, we're going to start to just find a really nice rock of the knees from side to side. So just letting the whole back relax onto your mat. You might bring the arms to move into this as well. So maybe letting the knees come over to one side as the arms start to sweep upward, and then bringing the knees to come to the other side as the arms start to sweep down towards the end of your mat. And just finding whatever feels good with this. And then you are taking your time to just find the legs lengthening, arms lengthening. So we're finding a big stretch, and then using your core to roll you all the way up. Sitting up really, really tall here when you get to the top. Circle sweep the arms all the way around, and then coming all the way over to your child's pose to finish off. So taking your time, you guys, just to find a comfortable position to be, to finish off here in child's pose. Big toes together, knees out wide, or you might want to have the knees together. Taking some cleansing breaths in through the nose and all the way back out the nose or mouth. And staying here for as long as you like before going about the rest of your day. Well done, you guys. Can't wait to see you again soon.